Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk podcast here every Tuesday and Friday. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luke Owen, DAD. Apologies. Trigger warning, everyone. He's wearing a hat. His ears look weird.
Yeah, they certainly do.
Because we are on everywhere.
You can't stop us.
It's on YouTube, it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Spotify, and yes, we're still on hats. We're on hats now. QR code, it's here. Scan it. Scan that QR code. Let it focus in.
It's not going to focus because it's focused on me. Back.
Focus.
How cameras
Do
work.
I need to tap the screen,
There's
Luke?
a screen
Do
focus.
I tap the screen so it focuses?
Yeah, I don't think if you just shout focus, it makes the cameras focus.
What is the point of technology?
I don't know.
If it's that crap.
You wouldn't think it's your birthday this weekend.
It is. It is my birthday.
Yeah.
Should that make the camera obey
No,
me?
what I was just saying is that it's showing that you are getting older and therefore getting out of touch with technology.
No. I'm not going to let that happen. Anna's grandma, she can use an iPad. She pays with things with touch tapping.
I mean, you do that too.
Yeah. But that's an example of someone who has continued to
saying.
learn technology despite being 85 years old.
They've not become a Luddite.
As opposed to my parents who just stopped new technology in 2005.
Yeah.
I do not want to be that person.
It's when technology peaked. Really, all we've been doing is just repeating it over and over again.
We've just got larger and larger phones. When there was a trend in the early noughties, they were getting tinier and tinier.
There's a bit in Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park where he says technology isn't actually improving anyone's lives. Like we've had vacuum cleaners since the 1950s, but our houses aren't any cleaner. It's the same thing.
But it does make it a bit easier to do things. There's an episode of Futurama I watched recently where there's a whole gag about Amy's teeny tiny phone. Because that was the direction of travel at the time.
Yeah.
Increasingly tinier phones.
And now they're relatively small.
Now they're just all slabs.
Although my phone, people would say that my phone feels like it's a small one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've got a Max. My one, I effectively walk around with this iPad.
I saw
like Dom Jolly.
saw a guy on the train yesterday who had one of those fold-out phones. And I was like, it's too big, mate.
It's going to be the way. Honestly, the tri-fold phone is going to be the next big thing. And then we're going to
make it Star Trek.
Then we're going to get phones that just like pull out.
Or like a green screen.
Yeah, pull out like a green screen or an old OHP. On this episode, we have an interview with Kyle Fletcher and Skye Blue.
Yeah, I did that on Monday at Wembley Stadium, no less. So that's coming up later in this show. We're also going to be reviewing AEW Dynamite, and we've got the all-important Ass Index with a new theme.
Ooh, but we're going to start off talking again about AEW. About a month ago, 5 weeks ago, in the build-up to Revolution, we did a whole podcast themed around, wow, AEW's good, isn't it?
Yeah, that'll be my first question I asked to Carl Fletcher and Skye Blue when we get into the interview. Why is it good again?
Is it back?
Yeah.
What was their answer? Because I've not seen the interview yet.
We never left.
Yeah, sure. They've got to say that. they can't say, yeah, it was a bit ropey there, wasn't it, when Moxley was on top in those early days of the Death Riders?
They do give, a pretty good answer after that, though. After they get out of the sort of the PR influence, we've always been good.
I feel like Kyle and Skye Blue have become a bit of the AEW media couple.
Why did you say that?
I don't know. I just feel like they do a lot of press. They're willing to do a lot of press.
But they have done this week because they did a media day on Monday, and now everyone's releasing those interviews.
Yeah, but before then. Yeah, when you'd think, oh, John Cena feels like the face of the company, not just because of being an on-screen top star, but because if the company wants to get something over to the lamestream media, they choose John Cena. I feel like Kyle and maybe Skye Blue, they're smart about that, and they're like, well, we're going to put our faces everywhere we can. It'll make us bigger stars and more important to the company.
To that point, he looks like a star because he's dressed to the nines in the interview. And so is Skye Blue, actually, because we did the interview on the steps. We went outside and we did it in the stands. And Skye Blue was wearing these massive heels. And we got wires everywhere to to plug the camera in and stuff. And I was just, every time she walks over, I was like, be careful, mind that wire there. And she did say, I'm in the wrong footwear for doing this.
And as tall as that made her, I bet she didn't even come up to Carl Fletcher's nipples. He's a tall fella.
He is a tall and very handsome fella, IRL.
Bit of feedback, though. I get you doing it because you're in the faction and you're meant to be a heel. God damn, wear some socks.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't wearing any socks. Yeah, he was not wearing socks.
I've not watched the interview, but I have seen a still, a wide still from your rushes, and it's just trouser leg into bare ankle, into shoe loafer.
It's like seeing wrestlers not wear knee pads. It's like, I don't want to see your knees.
No, but I like that. Sometimes as a throwback to a Renaissance man, like a...
Lyra, if you're watching this show, put some knee pads on. You'll thank me later.
I got my suit fitted over the weekend for the wedding, and he measured my legs. I was like, oh, I was asking, what's the theory here? Why does it need to be this versus that? And he went, well, legs are weird shapes. And I went, are they? And he went, yeah, legs are super weird.
Yeah.
So that the idea behind tailoring is to just have two relatively straight pleated legs.
Yeah.
He's like, anyone who goes the skinny jeans route, which was me in the late noughties, it's like, it's a weird look.
Well,
they go in, they go out, and they're knobbly.
I've thought this recently because, as has been well established on the show, I only own 2 pairs of jeans. The jeans I'm currently wearing and a pair of black jeans I bought in the mid-2000s. And these, I got these jeans because we were once sponsored by the company that made these jeans.
Yeah, they were
True Classic.
And
they are legit the best jeans I've ever, been given in my entire life. But those black jeans are like skinny jeans. Like they are painted on. It's why, I don't like to wear them too much. I should just buy myself another pair of jeans, I suppose.
There's always that. How did we get on to
about
Carl Fletcher? But AEW, 5 weeks ago, we did that. AEW's back. And that was, I think, 2 weeks out to Revolution. I would say all the episodes, bar last week's episode, which was a bit ropey, still enjoyable, but just a bit... They took a few too many wild swings with the derby match and bits like that.
So I would say, last week took a few too many wild swings. I felt like this episode as well was not the hottest episode of Dynamite. I felt that it was it kind of booked around the wrong way. Like, I get why you opened with Swerve and Omega, but I felt like that would have been better served as the main event of the show. Like
that's a common bit of feedback from the Patreons.
Yeah, it started with a cum shot and then went into foreplay. And it was a little bit just sort of like...
It's too tickly, isn't it? When you do it that way round. This has to be one of the most jizz-filled weeks of wrestling podcasts we've ever done.
You want to change the thumbnail for this one as well?
To what? AEW's jizz streak? AEW is making us jizz every week.
AEW's cum shot.
God, what?
Sorry if you listen to this podcast with your kids in the car or something.
So they won't know. They'll think jizz is a fun word to say.
It is a fun word to say.
It is a fun word.
I'm 40 years old and it's a fun word to say.
But apart from that 1 week, which was still fine, we have been treated. We have feasted well on Dynamite's collisions, storylines cross over into each other, characters are shared across everything. Feels like it's better to watch both shows as opposed to, I'll just catch up with Collision in the recaps on the pay-per-view.
I think that's the key to this, actually, is that they have made a real concerted effort to make Collision feel like a worthwhile show, because it was a worthwhile show when they first had it, and then Punk left. And much like the trios titles, which were only made for the elite, once they didn't have those people on the show anymore, they just sort of didn't care about it. Like it Punk left and it didn't do great ratings, so they just stopped caring. And it feels like since they've got the new TV deal, they're like, oh, actually, do you know what? If we make this good, maybe we'll get even more money for it next time. So let's make it a worthwhile show.
And I think the injection of new talent has helped a lot, quite subtly, because it's not like they've brought in any megastars like they did in the last couple of years with Okada and Ospreay and Jay White, arguably. This has been Tommaso Ciampa, Lena Cross, Zeta Steele. Who's the other guy who's not Mark Davis?
Jake Doyle.
We all know Jake Doyle.
Doyle!
Just like smart signings to bolster your mid-card, which lets some people move up a bit better. I think if you didn't have names like that, what we're seeing with Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, they don't have the freedom to sort of teeter on that, I'm a mid-carder, but I I could challenge for the world title on a TV episode.
And they're saying it in interviews. Like, they always say, if you're in a wrestling promotion, your main goal is to be the world champion. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes with wrestling promotions, you have a mid-card that aren't really doing that. They're like going for mid-card titles and stuff. But on this show, it feels like everyone legit is trying to go for the world title. Carl Fletcher said in this episode, I'm annoyed I can't go for the world title.
Interesting take on that later on in the Patreon comments. I agree with you, but I can also see their side of things. Anyway, what we're saying is, it has been a really, really consistently great streak for AEW since, let's say, the C2 began. It was building before then, but the C2 was great. Everything started to click. And from the start of this year, with MJF as champion, because I think that is probably the linchpin that's driving all of this, and MJF as champion raises all challengers into main eventers somehow. We've seen it before. I don't know how he does it. He just makes everyone around him more interesting. We have a Revolution which had a big stip with Hangman Page will never be able to challenge for the title again. We had Ospreay returning.
It wasn't advertised.
Wasn't advertised, but maybe that helped in some just chatter. I think it certainly helped the episode that followed in the numbers.
I also think it helped. We'll get into the buy rate in a second. I think it also helped because apparently what this show had was a lot of replays, like a lot of replay buys. So it's a lot of people bought it live, but what it's actually seen is a real massive spike in post pay-per-view buys. So people going to buy the replay.
And
so that'll be things for like Ronda Rousey, Will Ospreay.
Yeah, stuff that wasn't advertised in advance but did happen and people wanted to check it out. And yet Ronda, I know none of us are big fans of her.
Yeah.
But even if you take out her, the way she conducts herself, I think we're done with her in wrestling.
Well, it says that AEW are as well, by the sounds of things. There was a report from Mike Johnson in the week that it was just a one-off appearance. And the only reason they did it is because she was close by. So they were like, oh, yeah, I suppose we could do this to promote the fight. So they're open to doing it again. But as it currently stands, there are no creative plans for a follow-up to it. It was just a one-off thing.
A one-off, but I really do believe they would have got Toni Storm, Ronda Rousey together, maybe for All In August. Mm-hmm. Huge thing. But that does seem to have impacted, possibly the pay-per-view rate buys, but certainly last week's episode of Dynamite. For the year so far, it's been averaging in the low 600,000s. Very good compared to what Dynamite was doing last year. Mm-hmm. But then, last week's Dynamite did 730,000 viewers. That is 111,000 more than the Go Home episode previous week. That says to me, Revolution worked.
Yes, because I think that is a lot of the buzz coming out of Revolution, because it's talking about those sort of the replay buys for Revolution. Part of that is not just because you had the return of Will Ospreay or the big angle at the end of the show with Hangman Page. Great matches up and down the card. It was everyone talking about the amazing match with Moxley and Takeshita, the amazing match between FTR and the Bucks, the incredible match between Bandito and Andrade. That sort of like the buzz around the show probably would have made people go and watch the show the following week, because if you are sort of like in that pop culture zeitgeist in a way, or at least in the wrestling bubble, more people are likely to check out your show. People are talking about it.
Yeah, you're totally right. It's not just the surprise appearances, it's the quality of the show. And that was the main thing we were talking about, other than, oh my God, what have they done to Hangman? It was, that might be one of the best consistent top to bottom in-ring wrestling cards of all time.
Yeah.
And I know people are gonna get annoyed, but just to show the sort of ratings it was getting from Meltzer, that opening FTR Young Bucks match, 5.5 stars.
Ooh, I actually haven't gone into I haven't read last week's Observer.
John Moxley versus Takeshita, 5 stars. Swerve Strickland, Brody King, 4.25. The Jet Speed and Mystico versus Don Callis family match, 4.75 stars.
Whoa, he's well high on Mystico at the moment.
Andrade versus Bandito, 5 stars.
In fairness, actually, that Mystico Trios match was awesome.
And the main event, 3.75 stars.
Yeah, no, he didn't love that. I think he thought it was too violent.
Yeah.
Didn't
he? 3 5-star plus matches, and 2 4.75 star matches.
Yeah. And
that's an incredible standard.
But for anyone as well who is going to be in the comments saying, like, who cares about what Dave thinks? He has a swathe of influence. If he gives something a 5-star rating, more likely people will go and check it out.
Yeah, definitely. He is one of the main wrestling influencers.
He's an influencer.
He's an influencer before he wasn't it. Before influencers were a thing.
He's just not on Instagram doing it and is sponsored by Maybelline or whatever it is to go make you buy an eyeliner. He is just telling you a wrestling match that he really liked, and people are influenced by his thoughts to go and check out that wrestling match, whether to actually see if it is as good as he said it is, or to say that he's wrong.
Speaking of guys who just decided, I'm good with technology. He's so willing to evolve with the new styles of wrestling. You know, I really admire him for that. But man, he will type on an old computer, be surrounded by bits of paper, and hold the microphone for a podcast.
I mean, long time. Holding the mic is one thing, but long time Wrestling Observer radio listeners like myself will remember when he used to phone in to Brian Alvarez so he could record him over the phone for it. And this wasn't like, 2001. This was like 2014 he was still doing this.
So we had Dynamite. We both said last week, not the best episode, not a bad episode, but just a bit of a weird episode. Maybe there would have been a danger there for those people who are checking AEW out again, because we can see there's about 110,000 people there who are either lapsed or new viewers. They are not part of the usual audience for 2026 so far.
Just give the little caveat, could also just be Nielsen weirdness.
It could be, but they've not changed anything.
that we know of.
They do tell us when major updates have happened, and one will happen in April. The last one happened in January. So for the moment, I think we can put it down to this is a significant increase on the previous week.
Yeah.
There are new viewers. Oh no, Dynamite's a bit weird. Is that going to chase those new viewers off? Maybe not, because that weekend's episodes of Collision, I say episodes intentionally because it was 2 one-hour episodes split over Saturday and Sunday.
Because of, I'm going to guess basketball, they were called Slam Dunk episodes, so I'm going to guess it was a basketball NCAA preemption.
It's March-a-Mania.
Won that title, I think.
March-a-Mania. I do know it's called March Madness, everyone, just before you start to go, oh, so dumb. They admittedly had a great lead-in from those sports things, but Collision did 470,000 viewers on Saturday night. Incredible feat. That's their highest since February, so over a month. And the next night, on Sunday, did 616,000 views.
So if you're on Twitter and wondering why you didn't see any fast nationals about Collision over the weekend, this will be why. Because they did killer numbers. Probably against a lot of odds, but they just did incredible numbers. Should say as well, that Sunday episode was the one that had Mystico on it. I reckon there's a big bump in viewership due to Mystico.
So they've been averaging the mid 400,000s really on Collision. They've been doing well as well, but this is even good for them. To me, just knee-jerk reaction, move the show to Sunday nights. Saturday nights is a very difficult night to draw high viewership on. Most people go out.
Hey! Happy birthday to you.
Come on, everybody.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ollie. Happy birthday to you.
Oh my God!
And many more. Now eat your entire cake. Eat it.
Candles aren't lit. Health and safety.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody. What a lovely surprise with the confetti can.
That was not on the list.
I was midway through a great point about Collision moving to Sundays.
On the ceiling.
Luke tested to say you had nothing to say.
He's just wanging on at the moment.
Guys, I'm well bored.
Now's a good time. But I can't get a word in edgewise.
We have got a vacuum for this, right?
Yeah, enjoy hoovering, guys.
Clean it up.
Thank you. And it was Dave Bradshaw's birthday this week.
It was as well.
Yeah.
Hey!
We've recycled the cake.
we didn't want to spend money on
Thank you so much.
Oh, that was nice.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Ta-ra.
Thank you. That was a surprise. I can't remember the last time I've been surprised. That has genuinely thrown me.
You're welcome.
So Collision should move to Sunday nights.
Which is actually a very good point, because Saturday is a bad time.
My screen is covered in confetti.
You've got to bin your hair as well. Try to get that.
I could get it.
You got it.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Oh, it takes me back to when MJF's confetti went in my beer.
I know. And we asked him to apologise for it.
He didn't. So where were we? Hey, the Revolution numbers were great.
That's all. Yeah, so the Revolution. Let's talk about the buy rates.
Yeah. So we don't know the exact numbers. This is from a Wrestling Observer report where they said that the Revolution buy rate was really good. We don't have any numbers right now, but it did pretty good. Really good.
Yeah, we'll know by like the end, mid-April, I reckon.
It's the best since All In, which is last July, which was the big Moxley, Hangman Page culmination, and probably by a decent margin. Now, All In last year did 180,000 buys.
Yeah.
So it's not that good, but that is in the tippity top tier of what AEW does for their biggest shows. The highest buy rate since then was 140,000 buys. So both Full Gear and World's End did that.
Yeah.
So we know then that Revolution is between 140 and 180,000 buys.
And crucially, within Meltzer's reporting of it, he said it's certainly the best since All In, and probably by a decent margin, which suggests to me, then you and I were thinking about this before we started recording, we reckon it's probably then in about the 160 mark?
Yeah, decent margin, at least 150,000, I would say. And I'm just trying to find out where I've got the overall... I did have the overall sort of metrics on everything, all of their ones throughout the years. Note that is the Raw Tag Team Championship. You just fill for time and I'll get
I cannot believe it took me that long
AW pay
to remember. Oh, look, there is. That little bit of confetti that was on the ceiling just fell through and it landed through my camera. That was nice.
Here we go. I've got it on WrestleNomics. Thanks for filling for time, bit of confetti. So 150,000, let's say, we'll put it in like the... if we take out all-ins, because all-ins are generally monster numbers, that is the most since... let's go back. So we're in 2024 now. March 2024.
Wow.
And that was Revolution. That was Sting's retirement show.
That's Sting's retirement show. Crikey. Which obviously he's going to get that's going to get a big number anyway because it's Sting's retirement show.
If we go back before then, it's August 2023. The first All In.
Wow.
Which is 200,000 buys. And then, everything else, even in their glory days of 2022, when you got the likes of
Punk and
Cole and Danielson coming in, we're at the 140,000 mark.
Yeah.
Double or Nothing, actually, no, sorry, All Out 2021, which was that exact one, 215,000.
Because that's Punk's first match back.
Yeah, and then you get a great year of 160,000 average. And then it goes down to 140 after the Brawl Outs.
So what I'm taking from that is, as a way to say, like, is AEW back or how much is AEW back to? They are back to the point when they had Punk come in and Danielson and Cole come in on that sort of, that wicked trilogy over that sort of like 7-day period. That's where we're currently at. They're almost back to those highs again.
Not the initial 3 months of that, but certainly that start of 2022,
yeah,
I want to say.
Yeah, when they were sort of like part of the furniture and they were just the established guys on the roster.
Which is an incredible achievement considering everything this has gone through. Yeah, it's like we said, the last podcast had the thumbnail, AEW is back. And this is, I would say, really definitively now, AEW is on a hot streak.
Like Alan Partridge, they've bounced back.
Shall we talk to Carl Fletcher.
Yes. So on Monday,
and Sky Blue.
Yes, I was going to do that. On Monday, I went to Wembley Stadium with cameraman Wes, and we sat down outside. It was a lovely sunny day in London. We went to Wembley Stadium, sat outside, and I had a chat with Sky Blue and Kyle Fletcher. I am here in Wembley Stadium, which will soon be filled with lots of screaming. It's empty at the moment, but soon it will be
not quite empty.
Well, yeah, there's some people down there on a tour, I suppose. But it will be soon filled with screaming wrestling fans. Currently, I am here with one half of the Sisters of Sin, 1/3 of the Triangle of Madness, Sky Blue. I am also here with your TNT champion and, according to Wikipedia, 1/15th of the Don Callis family, Kyle Fletcher.
We had this conversation earlier with somebody. Apparently there's 19. 1/19th of the Don Callis family.
Well, I counted. It was 15 on Wikipedia.
Okay.
But it also still had Brian Cage on the group.
There's an injured list as well.
Exactly,
yeah. Injured reserve.
How are you both?
Fantastic.
Yeah. Outside it's lovely
I know.
weather today.
I mean, still a little bit chilly. I mean, for UK standards,
it's very nice.
A lovely day.
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm not in shorts. That's how gorgeous it is.
We can cut your jeans.
Yeah,
make them into shorts.
The John Cena look.
Yeah, dude. The jorts.
Yeah. Why aren't jorts back?
Yeah, I'll bring him back.
Well, if there's anyone who could, I would trust you to be able to do it.
Pink jorts. What do you reckon? Yeah.
Pony jorts.
Oh,
I like it.
I'm into it.
So one of the things that has been the chatter of the internet at the moment is that AEW is back. Feels like the feeling has been restored.
We never left.
That's what I left. Feels like the momentum is really with AEW at the moment. What do you credit as for being one of the reasons why AEW is quote unquote back?
I would say that everybody in the locker room is so very passionate about not just pro wrestling, but about AEW specifically. I think we have such a good locker room now, such a good backstage environment, and it's just everybody, every single show is ready to go out there and just absolutely kill it with whatever it is, you know? Like I could have a promo, I could have a match, I could be wrestling anybody, and I'm just so ready to go out there and give it my absolute all because I love not just pro wrestling, but AEW, and I want to see it be the biggest and best it possibly can be.
What about you?
Yeah, I feel like our women's locker room especially, we all are just pushing each other to be the best versions of ourselves and just go out there and do what we all fell in love with, which is wrestling. So yeah, I think we're all just very excited and just pushing each other and just want to go do our best.
I love how AEW is still for the sickos.
Oh yeah.
You haven't changed anything about that standard. And there's actually been, I won't say the word criticism, but certainly the level of violence in AEW. We recently saw at the last pay-per-view a incredible but very violent main event. And you were part of the women's blood and gut match that we've got a lot of, that was a hell of a lot of violence. But I felt that had way more criticism left against it than the Hangman MJF match. Why do you think that match was focused on more?
I think because it is the first ever women's blood and guts. You know, this is the first time we're getting the opportunity to do this huge match that is supposed to be a bloody, violent, you know, two rings, they're in a cage, there's all these women, there's all these weapons. So I think it's just the first time people saw something like this, but I also think it's an incredible opportunity. I've wanted this match for probably ever since I started working in AEW, and I had the time of my life in that cage, and I don't think I'll ever forget that feeling. But I think it was just something that people didn't know what to expect, and now they do, so now they can be prepared, because there will definitely be more in the future, and I hope I'm in them as well.
We are in Wembley Stadium, hoping that both of you are featured on the card for Wembley Stadium, maybe defending the TNT Championship.
Who knows?
Sky, what do you hope is on your future for Wembley?
I would love to tag with Julia. I feel like we both haven't had a moment here in Wembley. She did in the very first one. I haven't gotten to do anything here in Wembley, so to have her by my side, I think that would be amazing. And go maybe win some tag team championships would be amazing.
And for you?
Obviously, defending the TNT Championship, holding on to it till Wembley would be awesome, but I love to shoot for the stars as well. There's an Owen Hart tournament coming up pretty shortly. The main event of Wembley will be on the line, so I would be remiss to not say that would be number one on the bucket list, wrestling for that world championship, whoever that may be.
You recently did lose the belt.
I did what, sorry? Sorry, what?
You recently did lose the belt, and then you won it back.
I did.
Spectacularly
Yep.
so. What was that like in that sort of like very brief period of time? Because you had Tommaso Ciampa come in, you had Mark Briscoe. What was that sort of like little three-way like?
Yeah, it was exciting. And everybody was excited about Ciampa coming in. Everyone was excited about me and Briscoe again, and I think that just goes to show how the TNT title is being viewed now. And I think when I won the title for the first time, it was very much at the forefront of my mind to make it feel like the biggest deal possible. And I think the way that you bring prestige to championships is by defending it as much as you can, by putting on spectacular defenses. And I think I achieved that with my first reign. And then, you know, for Ciampa to come in and come straight after the TNT championship, and, you know, for everyone to be buzzing about that, to be buzzing about Briscoe, to be buzzing about me, I think that was just kind of a nod that I had kind of achieved what I wanted to with that first reign, to make that TNT title feel so important.
Well, speaking of titles, Tekla currently holds your AEW Women's Championship. I suppose you don't have sights on that belt currently?
Not currently.
No?
No, we're very proud of her, and like the fact that she has come in and kind of like taken AEW by storm. Me and Julia are just very happy to just be by her side and help her, because she's definitely helped us, and we're just a collective little triangle, and we're just working our asses off to see where we can get to.
I do hate to bring up title losses again.
This guy, man.
I know, look, it's not my fault that you lost. I'm not taking the blame.
Okay, now.
I'm not going to be the one that's taking the blame for you losing those trio titles.
Why am I in the middle of this?
Yeah, I don't know.
However, as someone who was a huge mark for Aussie Open,
Sure.
how great was it to be back with Mark Davis, winning tag gold again?
Yeah, it was very personally fulfilling. As you know, Mark Davis has had just a real shit end of the stick with a lot of stuff, with injuries and Jake Doyle getting injured as well. Just kind of, it really felt like he was just, you know, getting a bad run for a little while. And personally, he's one of my best friends in the whole world. So seeing that really sucked. But now, man, I think it was only a matter of time before he started getting the kind of opportunities that I was afforded when he got injured for the first time in AEW. And now he's been given them, and he's smashing them out of the park like everyone always knew he would. So yeah, for me, being able to be chance with him again, seeing him killing it on his own in the ring, you know, it just means the world to me to see it.
I love how much of a push he's getting on TV at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And being featured in every, because he's on TV like every week.
Every week, yeah.
It's superb. Are you looking to do some more single stuff, or are you quite happy tagging with Julia?
I mean, I love tagging with Julia, but I'll always be open to doing single stuff. I'm just happy to wrestle wherever they want me and just to do what I love.
As a last question before we get into playing some games, you've got to say an elevator pitch to convince someone to buy their tickets for All In Wembley. What's your elevator pitch for them?
What if I set someone on fire?
That is a huge promise.
It's a big building, not like the building will catch on fire.
Well, yeah, I mean like, if they have like Stadium Stampedes, they might expect that sort of thing.
Maybe. My elevator pitch will be, even if Skye doesn't set anybody on fire, this building will be on fire. That first Wembley Stadium show, all in 2023, and again in 2024, I cannot replicate that energy anywhere else. I have not felt it anywhere else, and I think this year is going to be the same. All In is our biggest show of the year. AEW is on the run of its absolute life right now, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. We're going to keep it rolling all the way to Wembley, and it's going to be a night that I will never forget. You will never forget. I'm sure you will never forget, and everybody in the building will not forget.
Especially when someone gets set on fire.
Especially.
I just want to, just a clarification, if no one does get set on fire, you cannot come to WrestleTalk to ask why they didn't get set on fire. I did not make that claim.
If no one gets set on fire in Wembley Stadium, he is going to set himself on fire to make sure the promise gets fulfilled in some way or another.
Is this just because I brought up the fact you lost 2 titles in a short space of time?
I was going to get my revenge somehow. Now you've made that promise to the world and to the entire internet.
That's what the church kid did, and he didn't die. He's fine. Just really quick.
What lovely people they were. Genuinely was really nice to sort of spend some time with them. And there's extra footage for this interview as well. Head on over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk, because we've got some fun games that we played with them. Played Mr. and Mrs. with them. We played Wrestler Connections with them. And we played Stay Silent Until You Hear a Better Wrestler with them as well. So you can go check that over. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Those will also be available as shorts on our social media channels as we go along the next week. I think we're going to start posting those.
People love shorts.
They do.
People love fun games on shorts.
They love the fun games on the social media, and that's what we've done with Sky Blue and Carl Fletcher. So those will be available. I think next week we're going to start posting those. But it was a really fun time. Mr. and Mrs. in particular was really fun with them.
I did Mr. and Mrs. myself for my partner's hen party the other week.
Yeah.
Which is, what do they call that? A bachelorette party as
In
an
the
American
States,
translation. And I recorded my whole answer bit, because they would play it, on the WrestleTalk news set.
So when I did mine, when Kate had her hen do, I did mine against the old green screen in the old WrestleTalk news sets back in the day.
Yeah. But we're YouTube stars. And I did that free of charge to the hen.
Yeah.
So you're welcome. I'm a good fiance.
Yeah. Did you transcode the footage to make it smaller?
Nope. No, I did transcode it.
8 gig file.
It would be bigger than that, Blackmagic Raw. That would have been like 20 gigs.
20 gigs.
No, but I did not color grade it. So I'm very washed out. They don't know the difference. Should we get in with this episode of AEW Dynamite?
We should. The big talking point coming out of this episode, you said it earlier, the main bit of feedback is the ordering of the show. So I fully expected this show to main event with Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland.
Agreed.
Because that's your big angle. Like, that's the big match you've advertised. You announced it last week. That is your pretty much well-made main event. The other thing is, you looked at the rest of the things that were announced on this card, you're like, well, nothing else on this card probably would be a main event outside maybe the Tekla match. Like, maybe that would have been. But even then, that's got, top of the first hour as opposed to it being the main event of the show. Because it's not really been built.
You could have done the MJF segment at the end of the show and have Kenny come out and challenge him.
True. Yeah.
And then you've got a nice bookend of a story with the opener and Kenny and Swerve.
But I also see the argument of putting MJF at the top of the first hour because that is the way to get people to continue into the second hour. It's usually you get a bit of a bump when you get into that first to second hour. But what it meant was, it felt like this show was, as I said earlier, it was very top heavy because you had this amazing match to open with, and then the rest of the show really couldn't compare to it. And then when they announced, it felt to me like the commentators were, or rather Tony Khan, was seeing all the social media feedback asking why this wasn't the main event, so kept telling the commentators to remind people or explain and justify why Darby Allin versus Roosh was the main event of the show.
Yeah, they kept calling it a co-main event.
Yep.
And I'm like, you're better than this, AEW. We make fun of WWE for this.
They were rewording it as they were going. It really felt like in real time Tony was reacting to social media feedback to it. We've got to explain why Darby. It's like, it's because we just don't know how wild they're going to get. They might tear the whole ring apart. They have to be the main event. But the women are the co-main event. We're not saying the women couldn't main event this show.
Look, we know why they do it. It's to start the episode off with a huge bang to ironically capitalize on the preceding show's audience, The Big Bang Theory.
Is it still The Big Bang Theory?
I don't know, probably. I don't think any new sitcoms get made. It's just the same sitcoms now for the rest of our lives. Yep. And the same movies and the same pop stars.
Have you seen the trailer for the Harry Potter TV show?
No.
Oh, it looks exactly like the movie. The sets are the same.
Have you seen Moana? It's exactly the same as the other one.
Zero creative, artistic merit.
But it's so you want to have people tune in at the start of the show because hopefully you'll keep them, as opposed to, I guess, having your big thing at the end of the show where they might tune in for that and then, what are you going to do with them? They've left. It's a ratings ploy.
Or they might not actually stick around for the main event. I want to see that match, so I'm going to start at at the top of the first hour, but actually my interest in this show has waned off and I'm not actually sticking around for the main events.
It's a ratings ploy that I really do believe comes to the detriment of the specialness of the show. It is fine to have an amazing opener. I actually quite like that in regards to modern wrestling, where the pay-per-views now have a huge, exciting starting match and a big main event match. But it does not work when you do not have a big end of the show to mirror your big start of the show.
And one of the real strengths of AEW Dynamite in 2026 has been their main event. It's been these great, it was like they had a string of like 6-7 weeks where it was this killer main event and killer main event and killer main event. These last 2 weeks have felt like, the main event of the show didn't feel like it was the main event of this show. Last week it was the Bucks, the 6-man tag, and this week it was the Darby Roosh match.
In defense of last week, that wasn't really the main event. The main event was the Edge and Christian angle afterwards. But here, I could have told you that Roosh and Darby Allin would not have been the main event, the best main event thing. Again, MJF Kenny, that makes more sense to me. Bookend the whole show. Darby and Roosh, I really love that match. I thought it was really fun. I just love Roosh. It is real to him. I would rather do some of the crazier stunts that Darby's done rather than wrestle Roosh.
And also, like, for the Darby thing, last week he flipped a car.
Yeah.
And had a coffin match. And this week, I don't know, did this feel like a big follow-up? Like, they were like, man, we don't know what these guys are going to do. Turns out what they did was have a pretty standard wrestling match.
But it's also, there's no story.
No.
The Don Callis thing with Darby is the story there. And sure, there was a layout angle at the end afterwards. Bit of tension with Andrade. It really is middle of the show.
Yeah.
So structurally...
Even if you'd have done this as Darby versus Mark Davis, which would have been my pitch.
Yeah. Yes, that would have been much better. Structurally, it was off. And I really hope they do fix this going forward. Again, I get the ratings ploy thing, but you're in a good place right now. Show some confidence in your booking. Make these matches feel special by putting them at the end and having build-up promos and video packages throughout the night to enhance that special attraction feeling.
It has just hit me why this show felt off. There was no Mark Davis match.
MVP of the last 3 months.
Yeah, 3 out of 5 show. We did open with easily the best thing on this show, which was Kenny Omega versus Swerve Strickland in a winner-takes-all match. Swerve Strickland's #1 contendership and Kenny Omega's EVP-ship was on the line within this match. Clunky way to get here. My assumption is they wanted to have Kenny Omega versus MJF as the main event of Dynasty. Okay, so that's our end point. How do we get there? Kenny Omega becomes the #1 contender. He lost his last match, so he needs to win a match. Well, really, he should beat Swerve Strickland then. Okay, well, what if Swerve Strickland is the #1 contender? Great, that's fine. Well, why would Swerve Strickland agree to the second match? He wants the EVP ship. Bish bash bosh, we've got our match now. We worked backwards, and it had a bit of a clunky way to get there.
This is all fixed by Kenny versus Swerve, #1 contenders match at Revolution.
Which they couldn't do because Kenny was off doing a street fight.
Yes, which they did know about for a year.
Which is why they did it on TV.
And he was also there. He also ended up being on the Revolution
but
show.
they didn't know he was going to be there. Like they was always going to try and get there, but you don't want to announce a match as big as Swerve and Kenny's, whether they did it on TV, and then not actually have Kenny be there.
Clunky setup, but this was a very good match.
Great match.
I didn't think it was as good as the first match. I really liked that first match. You had the sort of storytelling of the heel turn as well with Swerve. But yeah, this was also awesome. Kenny fought back. He sort of took most of it at the start, I'd say. But then Swerve started to work him over. That pile driver on the barricade.
Yeah, gnarly. The reversal of the one-winged angel into the vertebraker was a gnarly old vertebraker. It was really, really great. Kenny eventually hit the one-winged angel to get the win and became the #1 contender. He kicked out of the Swerve stomp and the house call. And when Swerve was setting up to do that second house call, Kenny did that fall down feint that he often does.
This it really does feel like classic Kenny.
Yeah.
Like even physically, he looks enormous.
Yeah, he looks like it's prime Kenny again.
Yeah.
I love it. We've got a video package for Darby Allin to hype up the main event. And then Will Ospreay cut a promo on Pac and Moxley, challenging Pac for a match on next week's Dynamite and challenging Mox to a match at Dynasty. And he thanked Mox in a way for, you took me out last week in front of my countrymen, in front of my mum. But it did mean I got to spend some time with my son. What it also meant was that I saw the fear in his eyes that his dad's neck's never going to be the same again. So I want to challenge you into a match. And that led into, as I said in my news episode, on purpose, Mix had a Mox tag match.
Mix had a Mox
tag match because Mox had a mixed tag match.
Right, okay. Good.
Yeah, it's good, wasn't it? Moxley, Daniel Garcia, and Marina Shafir took on Zeta Steel and Top Flight. Top Flight are from here.
Yes. They got a good I thought this was a much better crowd than last week. They really got into the hometown act.
Good match this. Distractions and interference from Wheeler Yuta. He gave Christopher Daniels the Psycho knee on the outside. And the finish saw the Dragon Tamer by Garcia on Dante, or Darius rather, and Moxley stomped Darius while he was in that hold. Death Riders win.
Good finish. Now, in this match, I was like, maybe Luke is right. Maybe this whole Mox tweener face remorse story has been paused with the Ospreay stuff coming back in. I really, really want Mox to like cut a promo about how, I don't know how to do it, but Mox is good enough to say, I regret what I did without losing any face. I regret what I did, but I'm a man of my word. Like I have a code. The Death Riders have a code. I will face the consequences. I will kill you, Will. If I will kill the consequences, or whatever, however you do it. I was like, well, I kind of want that promo now in reaction to Will, but they're not doing it. They're just going down this heel road again. And then, Mox calls for a mic. I'm like, yes, yeah, of course. Trust in AEW, trust in Mox. They're going to do that promo. Of course they would. Why would I ever doubt them? And then Mox just did a pretty standard heel promo.
Yeah, really was just a heel Moxley promo. This was Death Riders of old.
He said it's not personal. I'll agree to your match at Dynasty. Until then, don't let your mouth get you into trouble. So that's, I do hope they course correct a bit, because Mox was the best character in wrestling last summer.
Yeah, this, honestly, and I wonder once we get out of the Will match, we are just pausing that, and then we'll unpause it again once we're out of the Will match.
Look, pausing, pressing play, it's easy. But I think you can still do what you want to do, but just not hit pause on the Moxley character development.
I would agree.
It's harder. I mean, I can't tell you how to make it work, but you've got to. You've booked yourself into this particular corner.
Yeah.
You've got to do a bit better with it. However, that said, this Dynasty card,
it's a pretty tasty card.
We didn't talk about this in the hot streak thing earlier, but you talk about momentum. We've not had a pay-per-view since World's End, so it's felt like there's been a bit of a gap there. What's that, 10 weeks?
Yeah, 3 months.
3 months almost. You get Revolution, great card, loads of stakes, multiple 5-star matches. Oh my God, Dynasty's coming up in 4 weeks. The week before WrestleMania, we're getting a Dynasty. How are they going to top Revolution? Well, I'll tell you how. With Ospreay versus Moxley, they've only ever fought once before. That was New Japan in 2022. We've got Kenny versus MJF. They've only wrestled once. It was in 2023. It was on the 20th ever episode of Collision, back when they cared about it. And FTR versus Edge and Christian too.
And I would argue they didn't do it on Collision because they cared about it. They suddenly realized that MJF was about to break Kenny's record as longest reigning champion. They're like, we shouldn't really do a match about that.
Yeah. Those 3 matches are just amazingly big-time matches you can do. I'm so impressed that they're able to put on a differing card of that quality following Revolution.
Yeah. Promo from the Young Bucks, who are looking for new challenges. They're looking to claw their way back up to the top of the tag ranks.
This is just saying, without saying, we will face Edge and Christian by the end of this year.
And Speedball Mike Bailey took on Rocky Romero. They announced that Josh got hurt on Collision, Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
And Bailey won quickly.
Yeah, a bit of not a squash match, but definitely an enhancement match.
A Rocky match.
Rocky is the best person for it. Such big fans of Rocky here. Doing impressions of Mike Bailey's karate poses.
Yeah, he got into his thing again. Like he went a bit viral when he was doing his pose, and Will Ospreay, was it Will? Or was
I think it's Kenny.
It was Kenny, and then Kenny rose up, did the same thing again here, did the pose, so that Mike Bailey could get in and do his big spinny kick. We got a recap of Hangman and MJF. We didn't talk about Hangman in the opening segment, but I think I was slightly distracted by people coming in to do birthday stuff. But I was going to bring up Hangman because I do think he is an integral part to this success story. I don't think it's any coincidence that the 2 biggest buy rates they've had within a calendar year period, if we're going by how big this is when Hangman was going for the title. I think people really do resonate hard with Hangman and his journey and his character, which is why maybe it is a bit dicey to do this storyline now, or to do the angle that we're in where he can't challenge for the world title again.
Yeah.
But MJF returned to the show. He hanged the Hangman, and then he was like, yeah, I mean, it's probably the easiest match of my career. Easy dub. It does his catchphrases, but Omega comes out. I thought Kenny's promo was of a quality of Kenny's usual promo style, in which it was 3 out of 5.
Yeah. Well, it's weird to have been so into his promo style, and nothing's changed. They're still long. There's still inflections in weird moments. It's still mostly delivered quite dry, as his New Japan days. But I guess it was so cool, and you were getting some bits were being Japanese, and it's more of a tradition there to just do a 20-minute promo at the end of a show, thanking the crowd, good night, bang bang, whatever. But yeah, he's actually not that compelling on the mic, although I don't mind it. I take Kenny as a package. I love him completely.
I do too. I think the reason why this promo felt a little bit stilted is it felt like there was not the setup line for it. And Kenny doesn't really have the setup line for it in his promo either. The idea is to get to the end point, which is, you call yourself the devil, people have called me the god of pro wrestling. And he started his promo being like, you got the nickname the devil. Well, I'm the best bout machine. I'm the cleaner. I'm the god of pro wrestling. I don't really like being called the god of pro wrestling. Some people have called me. And I was like, you just called yourself that.
He definitely... Backpack humble Kenny made a return in that one moment. And it did sort of torpedo the cool wrestling build he was doing.
It would have worked if Max had said, and apparently I'm going to be facing the so-called god of pro wrestling at Dynasty. And then Kenny could be like, do you know what? I don't really like to call myself that. Other people call me that. It's not what I think of myself. But if you are the devil, maybe it will take the god of pro wrestling to take the world title from you. And feed it in that way. It just didn't work with Kenny being like, I don't really like that name, but I guess that's what we're branding it as.
Or I think it would have been justified for MJF. He says, I'm better than you. Ain't nobody on the level of the devil. And that's what brings out Kenny. Kenny comes out, says, oh, isn't anybody on the level of the devil? Well, how about the god of pro wrestling? Just own it, man.
Yeah, but Kenny...
I know that it's like that's
Kenny.
typically a heel thing, JBL being a wrestling god.
Yeah.
But you are Kenny by God Omega. I think if he said it, no one's going to go, this guy's got on a big freeze boots.
Yeah. Not sure about this chap over here, this young boy.
Oh, he's keeping himself EVP, just beat Swerve, now he's calling himself a god. No, I think you've earned the right to be called a god of pro wrestling. Maybe not the god. You could just say a god, like the Greek pantheon of gods.
Yeah. He also pointed out that MJF has beaten him before, but that was not when he was at his best. He was about 60 to 70% there. So you've beaten that Kenny Omega, but you've not beaten this Kenny Omega. MJF accepts the match. I thought that was already announced when he won the number one contendership. You win the number one contendership, you'll be facing MJF at Dynasty. Max can't just... he's the number one contender. You almost have to accept it. But either way, they don't shake hands. And they're having a contract signing next week where there could be no physicality.
So the theme is the god versus the devil. Fun theme, I think.
Yeah.
I've written here, a match and a call-out promo for Kenny. Making use of that stamina, eh? Because he's been off for a month. I bet he's got 88 stamina right now.
He's wrestling next week as well. He's in a 6-man tag. Renee...
Inferno match. Book him in an Inferno match next.
Renee interviews Cope and Cage backstage. Christian said, FTR, you turned your back on Adam Copeland. You also gave his wife a spike piledriver and broke her neck. But the worst thing you did was give me a spike piledriver. And he walks away. And Cope's like, really is an arsehole.
Yeah. It was great. And to your point, as usual, Christian's great. Edge went a bit lame.
Because then he's like, and now I'm super serious. In 2009, we became friends. I'm like, I've heard this story, Cope.
Beth cooked for you.
You saw my kids. You saw my kids at my house. I put you up. I'm going to take everything from blah, 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 blah. FTR came out to essentially repeat the promo.
Yep.
But, at the line was like, you are shells of your former selves. You're nothing but a nostalgia act. It was a short and sweet promo. I quite like FTR's shtick at the moment is they have promos that are not scheduled time on the show.
Yeah.
So the commentators will be like, well, this is not what's next on the run sheet. Because they don't care.
Yeah.
They're the living legends. They do whatever they want.
Gets them over as punks.
Yeah. And Orange Cassidy then came out for his tag team match with Roderick Strong against the Dogs. And he got into a shoving match with FTR before the match.
I love that part of AEW right now, how segments bleed into another and wrestlers just start fighting.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
And the Dogs won. So they are being 50-50 booked with themselves, I think.
Yeah, Gabe, whatever combo, whatever mathematical combo there is, all three of them will take 50% losses and wins. Finley and Connors, like you said. Roddy's great.
He's so good.
He's so good. Even though he's not the giant, he's throwing Cassidy around like he is. The War Dogs are very good.
They're great.
They're very good, but they've already been slotted in at a level in my head.
Yeah, 100%. You hit the nail on the head when you said they're the Bang Bang Gang. And it took the Bang Bang Gang a good while before they found their feet. And it was until they got Collision they've actually found it. Carl Fletcher got to promo backstage. So I asked him and Skye when I did the interview, so before we started recording, I was like, when did you fly in? Because I'd heard, like, when the PR were arranging it, they said, we might be able to arrange this for Friday. But it was on the Monday. It could have been on the Friday. And so we got in yesterday. So they flew in on Sunday. And I said, are you on TV this week? And they're like, yeah, we're flying back tomorrow. So they flew to London on Sunday, did media all day Monday, flew back on Tuesday, or on TV on Wednesday.
Did you ask them about the carbon costs to the impact? You could say it won't be sky blue very long for the planet.
No, but my thought here was like, you flew him back for this? You could have done this in Wembley.
Oh, surely that was taped. Yeah, but I suppose the reason being AEW do not know who they might need as a replacement. You never know on the day who's going to get attacked backstage, who might not be cleared.
Can't always be Mina Shirakawa.
Yeah. And Fletcher is a great hand to just put out or whatever. So
yeah.
I see why he would have flown back.
He pointed out, I'm undefeated in 2026. MJF isn't. Kenny Omega's not. Really, it should be me that's going for the world title right now, but
he lost his title, didn't he? No, Mark Briscoe. Wait.
Yeah, Mark Briscoe beat him.
Mark Briscoe lost it to Ciampa. Ciampa lost it to Fletcher. Sure, I've got it.
Yeah. Survival Series. And he's not pleased. He said, I'm not really pleased about this business arrangement that Don Callis has made with Max. And to that point, I'm going to become best friends with Takeshita again. And now you've got this like three-pronged part of the Don Callis family who aren't really on board with what Don is doing. And interestingly, they've all got different reasons. Takeshita feels like he's being pushed up by Okada. Kyle wants to be going for the title. And Andrade wants to be going for MJF. And Andrade doesn't really care who the champion is. He just thinks he should be the world champion.
Yeah, I really like it. It was quite explicit near the end, even though Fletcher was trying to frame it like, look, the Callis family shouldn't fight each other, which is why I brought in Takeshita. Hey, Proto Sheeta, that's it, was before Proto Okada. And they're like, yes. So it gives the illusion that Don Callis family are on good terms, but actually that is a play against Okada and Don Callis. This is so good. We get it more in the main event angle. Usually, because we just saw faction tension overdone in WWE and maybe AEW as well, every tag team, every unit, they started to bicker. I'm like, I don't care. Like, not DIY. Motor City Machine Guns doing it, it feels at the moment on SmackDown. But here, I'm like, but I haven't felt like this has happened with the Callis family. This feels like a good story to do now.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying this. And I was annoyed that I didn't think of this at the time, but I should have pitched Proto in when I interviewed Carl Fletcher.
Proto-in? Oh, because you're Luke. Proto-ins.
Proto-in. Mina Shirakawa took on Tekla for the women's title. This felt like it was more of a way to further the Who Attacked Tony Storm angle than it was about Tekla retaining her title.
Yeah. Tony Storm. I like what they've done there. They sort of staged, like the sort of Hollywood suicide glamour shots of the 30s magazines there for her attack. Black and white laid out, strewn across the floor. But yeah, it did detract somewhat from, is Mina going to do anything here?
Yeah, and she's got a secret admirer maybe because she's got the flowers, which I think they said on commentary. What I want to do is I want to look at that photo and Phoenix write it and sort of like zoom in and see if I can tap on the screen. There's a clue there. I'll ask someone about that. Do you think we'll find out who attacked Toni Storm before we find out who attacked Jey Uso before the Elimination Chamber?
Oh, I forgot that was a thing.
So did I. Someone brought it up in the comments on the Raw podcast. I was like, oh yeah! Who did attack Jey Uso before Elimination Chamber?
Bianca Belair. I think this will... Well, I think they've got something in mind, and I think we'll get a Stone Cold parody. A sort of Who Ran Over Stone Cold parody.
That's fun.
For Toni Storm.
So the report from Fightful Select is that there are no creative plans, and there never were any creative plans for Ronda and Toni. And all creative plans around Toni have been changed because she is currently out. However, they do have the creative plans in place for the reveal of who our attacker is.
Great.
Good match, though. I enjoyed this. Tekla distracted the referee with her belt, and then she used the brass knucks to get the win.
Yeah. I guess I just want Tekla to win clean more.
I would agree.
I get that she's a heel. We said this at the pay-per-view with Chris. But yeah. Fine match.
And she posed with Sky Blue and Julia Hart. Sky Blue flying back just for this. Renee interviewed Kenny Omega to announce the contract signing, and Mike Bailey walked up and said, "You're a nice guy." Kenny was like, "Yeah, you too, man. Canada."
Mike Bailey is just such a pure baby face. Yeah. It really does. I mean, this is his whole gimmick, isn't he? Feels like someone from the 80s, like a movie character from the 80s. There's no edge to him at all. He's just a super smiley karate man. Contract signing next week, though. No press conference.
Oh, shame.
Shame, isn't it?
Shame. The Demand cut a promo backstage. Ricochet said he was screwed by AEW. So the only way he could lose that title was with 21 other guys. He had a little go at one of his crewmates, but said, "Do you know what? I'm going to get a shot at the title."
Yeah. Bishop Khan? Was it?
Yes, it is.
The
Bishop
smaller
Khan, yeah.
one? Yes.
We were speaking with someone who saw the Demand at Rev Pro, High Stakes, at the weekend, and said they are massive in real life. Huge dudes. And the main event was Roosh versus Darby Allin in a no-holds-barred match. My first note, what an odd main event. This crowd thought the same thing because they got hot for something, but it wasn't this match.
Well, it was F-Ice.
Oh, is that what it was? I couldn't quite make out what they were chanting.
They got hot for anti-immigration.
Fun. That's interesting. I assumed it was just a sports thing. I was like, probably someone has made a sports reference locally and they're just chanting for the Steelers.
Yeah.
If that's their local team. Darby gets busted open. He wins with a jackknife. Not powerbomb, obviously. They put over that 7 wins in a row for him. And then as he's celebrating up the ramp, Mark Davis runs out and immediately pile drives him. And it was awesome.
Oh, it was so good.
So great. It was the best thing here.
I did put over Roosh as normal. I think there's no one like him. I think he could just wrestle someone for a top title. I love him so much. But yeah, this was a good match. It was a fun match. It just wasn't the match for this slot.
Yeah. So the Don Callis family last week were paid off by MJF to take out Darby Allin. So they did a beat down on him. Lance Archer gave him a choke slam. And Andrade is on the ramp, unsure about all of this because in his mind, so it's like, well, maybe I should just win the title.
Yeah, I like this. This is really good. It's three-dimensional. Everyone's got different motivations, and I can see where they're coming from. And Don's just trying to pretend it's all fine. Yeah.
Which is what he's always done. It's like, no, everything's fine. Do you want to go through our Patreon comments?
Yes. Real One's Geordie Tuff says, I love how 4 minutes into Dynamite, we get Swerve versus Omega. 4 minutes into Raw, I'm seeing the sights of Boston.
They're nice shots, nice drone shots of the city.
I loved how short the AEW entrance ramp was.
Yep.
It was like you took 3 steps and you would be in the ring.
It's one of the benefits of booking smaller buildings, I guess.
Amon Mantra 94 says, Kenny Omega is more or less back to his best at this point. He's been on fire, and tonight's match convinced me that is the case. Really good promo with MJF later in the show too. We didn't think it was as good, but it did its job. Black Yakuza 94, I guess Mox is a heel again. Was fun while it lasted.
They'll pause that eventually.
But yeah, we agree. Olivio Anilo writes, Overall, a fun show, but what are we doing? I know it's a common complaint that there are too many belts, but would it kill them to try build a singles feud for any of the mid-card men's singles titles? When Carl said he was going back after the world title, I almost lost it. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Perry makes a speech about going for it on Collision. I want to have faith that all the moving parts around the world title will lead to something, but I'm afraid it's coming at the cost of making all these others feel worthless.
That's what we were talking about earlier, and I actually do really agree with that point.
I think it's a really well laid out thing here. That's as great as AEW's top title booking is. It has come at the cost of too many belts.
Didn't need that national title.
Nicholas Gayen. I'm not a consistent AEW watcher, but I was there live, so I feel like I can comment. I think Kenny Omega versus Swerve Strickland should have main evented. I get they wanted to set up MJF with Kenny, but they could have opened with a segment featuring all three and still closed with the match.
I would agree with that.
That's another good way to have done it. MJF calls them both in the ring. Hey, you're both fighting me later. Should we call it off? You know, that sort of heel shtick. And finally, for the comments, Volt Tech Dormammu, who's my favourite username, ending Dynamite on a Darby Allin beatdown rather than Kenny versus Swerve 2 was certainly a choice. Felt like the EVP stipulation wasn't all that important after all.
As I said, I think they just worked backwards, and it was just a way to justify the heel accepting this match that really they didn't need to accept. In character-wise, they wouldn't have needed to accept.
Yeah.
So you just had to sort of add some nonsense stakes on. But you're right, it is completely unimportant.
You can go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk right now to get your comments in for each podcast. But hey, Luke. It wasn't just my birthday, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Was WrestleTalk on YouTube. March is almost over. You know, we got one podcast on Monday in March. But
Tuesday.
yeah, on Tuesday, of course, Monday Night Raw.
Don't tease on a Monday.
Just wanted to say thank you. It's been a really amazing month, and I don't know, it's nice that it's coincided with my birthday as well. I feel the love.
Yeah.
We haven't had this for a while where we've had so many gifts just sent into the office.
And the emails being sent and be like, I've also sent something in. It's really nice. There have been signs in the crowd, which felt like it's been a while. I mean, there was one in the debut episode of TNA, but it just feels like it's been a while since we've had a lot of signs at shows. Yeah,
like last week's Dynamite had 2 different signs. So thank you so much for everyone who's sent in a private message or an email or a comment, and to those people who held signs at the shows and also sent in gifts to us. You all say that, you appreciate us for the videos we put out, and we just, it goes both ways. So genuinely, thank you. It's made us think how we can do even better videos, making more immature stuff for the next 10 years.
Evolve our videos. Yeah. Because, YouTube has massively changed over the last 10 years. And I do think that's affected how a lot of channels like ours make videos.
Yeah. Well, just all across YouTube.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think we also want to evolve with that as well.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of exciting things in the works. We want to, tee that up for you. So it's not like, 10 years, what's the next 10 years? Well, a lot of you have been asking for deep dives and more long-form stuff. So that's coming. The interviews we want to do more of. I think some of the most fun days we've had over the last couple of years have been MJF, it's been James Storm. You going to see Carl Fletcher and Sky Blue this week?
Yeah, I really enjoy going to do it. Like Claudio a couple of years back when we had Eddie Kingston on the podcast back in the day.
The Eddie one. Talking of long form, I will start work.
What?
But again, it's already
it's not starting work, but
it's 8,000 words long. I have been working on it and reading lots of books. The enshittification of WWE video is coming.
Yes, it is.
In May. I'm going to say it publicly. That gives me a full month. It's not like anything big in wrestling happens in April, is it?
Well, I mean, WWE don't seem to think so.
It's coming in May. It could be May 1st. It could be May 30th. May 31st, you're right. That's one of those months that has 31 days in it. But yeah, I can work on that. That's going to be a focus of mine because it's so much work putting those together. Remember Pete's one last year? Was it 2 years ago? The Roman Reigns Bloodline one. That was like a month of solid work.
Yeah, it's massive, yeah. And I'm also working on something. I can't say too much about it just yet. There will be words to come about it soon. But it is a project that I've had a document or like a folder on my Google Doc drive for, I just want to say 10 plus years at this point. This is something I have wanted to work on for a long, long time. And finally, I've started on it. And I'm having so much fun doing it.
Yeah, we'll be announcing that very soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, stay tuned. I'm helping you with it.
You are,
and you have honestly been talking about that forever.
We've got other things that we can't quite announce just yet because we've had conversations. We have made plans. We kind of alluded to them a little bit on the Ramble Club X episode that we had over on Patreon, but we can't say mum's the word. Otherwise, some people might get upset that we've announced things too early.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, that's the idea is we want to start doing new, even better things, like more high quality things.
Totally.
But don't worry, we're still going to bring you all the stuff you normally get. Podcasts every Tuesday and Friday, the same as always. TLC episodes, 3 count. We're doing a 3 count next week, aren't we?
We are for WrestleMania.
Yeah, WrestleMania predictions in 3 words or less/fewer. For the WrestleTalk news, we're going to move to a schedule where we're always going to have episodes on Tuesday and Thursday. Those are the ones that people love the most because it's like reviewing Raw and it's reviewing Dynamite. Yeah. And then we'll always have an episode covering pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever they're called as well. And if something mad happens, like a big news story, like I don't know, Roman Reigns to AEW confirmed, we'll do a bonus episode reacting there right there with you.
Yeah. If CM Punk leaves WWE and goes back to AEW and announces a match with Dynamite, and announces a match with Kenny Omega, we will do an extra video.
But otherwise, it'll be Tuesday and Thursday episodes for the WrestleTalk news from next week. We'll give that a go, which will free us up to do these bigger projects that people have told us they want, and we want to do as well.
We really want to do them.
And also, we've been doing these new shorts over the last month. That was an experiment to see how they worked, and they've gone down really well.
People love their snack-sized news shorts.
Yeah, news shorts, but also the games we've been doing. Yeah. Like you said, you've got some games with Carl Fletcher and Sky Blue coming up too. So yeah, the aim is to do more of those as well. Because they're really fun. I mean, we shot one yesterday as well on the Monday Night War set with Sullivan and Dan.
I was so close to you, I could smell your new aftershave scent.
Mont Blanc, Explorer Extreme. But yeah, just genuinely, thank you all so much. It's been really touching the last month, and yeah, it just made us a bit re-energized, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not saying we were flagging or anything like that. Like we weren't unmotivated before, but it's actually like it's leveled up. It's leveled up. We are in Winnipeg next week for Dynamite. We're going to level up Shazam in Winnipeg next week. Yeah. It has kind of it's motivated me further. That's why it's like I'm super stoked about a lot of these things that we're working on.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's fucking WrestleTalk season. Should have. You know what? Stay right there.
Oh yeah, we've got some cans over there. I'll pause. He's walking over to the other side of the studio. There are now 3 crates of Fosters over in this studio. Like it's my student house in 2005.
This is for you, Carl Fletcher. It's your national drink. It's fucking WrestleTalk season. Oh, God.
Ugh. Oh, it's actually so much worse.
But it is past midday as we're recording this, so it's all good.
5 p.m. somewhere, my mum would say.
Shall we do that ass index?
Indeed. Before we do, Stephanie Miller has been in touch to say, been a fan of the pod and WrestleTalk for a few years now, and after hearing you guys got some AI slop, I figured some good old-fashioned creativity and signature Steph Sparkle was needed. Take your pick of these. She did send in 2.
Yeah.
So one of them's a bit sort of jazzier. I've gone for the strings version of this.
Okay.
I had fun creating them, even if they don't get used. I now know I can make jingles. Jam that jam. AI is trash. Love you. Bye. Steph, P.S. If you like my voice and looking some VO work, let me know. I'm joking. Well, half joking.
Well, thank you very much, Stephanie.
So here is the Ass Index version 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare your apologies, because this is the Ass Index.
For a second sip. and it was a mistake.
Why? Don't go for a second.
I just
sip
saw
of
it there.
Well, I couldn't hear that. Luke's heard it. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I'll listen to it right after this recording.
It's lovely.
Well, on the Ass Index.
Last week was, I would say, the most controversial week of the Ass Index because we both got flack for saying we both got flack for you saying that Alexa Bliss was better than or was worse than
Not
Billy
as
Gunn.
good, yeah.
And I got flack because I thought that Billy Gunn was better than Jey Uso. Although, so I did get a message from a friend of mine who said, "But Billy Gunn is better."
Well, that's why it's such a great segment, because it fires up debate. But Luke, is Brody Lee better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Yes.
Is Owen Hart better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Yes.
Is Katsuyori Shibata better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Yes.
Is Carlito better or worse than Billy Gunn?
I'm putting Carlito a lower.
He's lower, yeah.
He's lower. Is
Darby Allin better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Yeah, he actually won a match against him.
He's better. Just about. Is Orange Cassidy better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Yeah, I'm nodding my head. Yes, he is.
Is Tony Storm better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Yes. Yes, she is.
Is Jay White better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Yes, he is.
Is Paige better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Huh.
Saraya, of course, this is. I would say yes.
Yeah.
Because she was quite a trailblazer.
She was. Like, it was a small spark, a short-lived spark, but she certainly was. Like, she did kind of set things on fire for a bit.
I would argue she contributed more to the progress of wrestling than Billy Gunn did, than Mr. Ass did. Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I'd say Liv Morgan's better than Billy Gunn. I'd say she is.
Thing is, her matches are a bit inconsistent. Her promos are grating. Oh man, it's tough.
I think
I prefer the work of Billy Gunn.
Do you want to coin flip this one?
Yeah. What are you quite adamant that?
I think that Liv Morgan is better. Yeah.
Okay, coin flip.
Coin flip. Let me get a coin flip app. Hold on. Coin flip. All right. Someone also pointed out in the comments last week we should really do tails for asses. Or they should be
that is great. Okay, so tails is always Gunn.
Yeah, heads and asses. One second. My internet down here is not connecting. There we go. So heads and asses. It's heads.
So Liv Morgan's better.
Yeah, Liv Morgan's better.
Right. Ultimate Warrior.
I think Billy Gunn's better than the Ultimate Warrior.
Well, he is, isn't he? He is in the ring.
He is, though.
And he certainly... I mean, we're trying not to include outside of the kayfabe personalities.
Yeah.
But the Ultimate Warrior was one of the biggest stars for a couple of years. He was on top of WWF.
For such a short space of time, though. And it didn't work. He was like... And they tried it again with Luger afterwards. But I think Luger's more of a failed experiment than the Warrior was. I think Billy Gunn's better than the Warrior.
Okay. Ultimate Warrior, lower down than Billy Gunn. Is Bianca Belair better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Bianca Belair's better, though.
Is El Grande Americano, we'll go Ludwig Kaiser, better or worse than Billy Gunn?
I'm going to say yes, because he's managed to get this El Grande Americano thing hugely over in Mexico and oddly in NXT.
I don't know if Kaiser's done enough yet to outstrip the DX Attitude Era of Billy Gunn.
So should we put him lower?
Lower, but that's one of those for now.
Yeah.
Hopefully Ludwig Kaiser could do even better. Is Scott Hall better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Scott Hall's way better.
Is Ray Phoenix better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Way better.
Is Big E better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Way better.
Agreed. Well, 3 weren't as good as Billy Gunn and 12 were.
Strong week.
Strong week for everyone else.
Strong week. Well, I'd say that's a strong week for Billy Gunn. He got 3 wins that week.
Any recommendations before we get out of here?
I think you and I might have the same recommendation this week.
No, we won't, because you haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Oh, in which case you're going with the other one. I'm going to go with what I thought you might have gone with as your recommendation for this week, because on Tuesday, I text my mum and I said, "Mum, can I have your Amazon Prime login?" And she said, Sure, son, here it is.
And how long did you last taking a big stand against Jeff Bezos?
Well, I haven't given him any money.
That was 1 month?
No, because I cancelled my Amazon Prime middle of last year, rather.
Oh, that's very impressive then.
Yeah, and I still haven't given any money to it because I'm stealing my mum's Amazon Prime account.
Take that, Bezos.
I'm getting your content fan out. It's basically the Pirate Bay. But my recommendation is The Last One Laughing. UK specifically. The second season, I thought the first season was very good, but the second season, the first 2 episodes have been superb. Really, really great.
Yeah, it is tears streaming down your face with laughter.
Yeah, it's got some of my favourite British comedians in there, perfect for the show. I think Ramesh Ranganathan is great on the show. Sam Campbell's great on it. Diane Morgan's great on it. David Mitchell. So good on this. Mel Giedroyc. I adore Mel Giedroyc. She was so good on Taskmaster. She obviously was great when she did Bake Off as well. And I used to be a big Mel and Sue fan back in the 90s. But she is perfect for this kind of thing.
Alan Carr.
Carr's great.
Carr, everyone said you're not going to win Traitors. He wins Traitors. You're not going to win Last One Laughing. You smile all the time. He's doing so well.
He's doing really well. Very good. I adore any moment when people just walk away from a conversation mid-conversation because they know that. So the gimmick of the show, if you've not seen it, is you put 10 comedians into a room for 6 hours and you're not allowed to laugh. And that's the whole thing. If you laugh once, you get a yellow card. If you laugh twice, you're eliminated from it. And it's the last one standing, the last one laughing, will be the winner of this. It's really, really good.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. Watching people, like Diane Moore, they do this thing where they get a joker where you go up onto the stage and do a stand-up routine or do a comedy routine. Diane Morgan just read Into the Breach or Into That Good Night, wherever it is, and with fart noises. And my wife pointed out to me, and I think she's right, that's not funny, but watching people not try to laugh at it is really, really funny. And Diane Morgan sells it so well.
It is funny.
It's really funny.
It's really interesting because these are all comedians trying to make comedians laugh. And usually that's a different wavelength to a normal person audience. Normal jokes will not work on them. They'll just go, oh yeah, that was a well-structured joke. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I can see how that works in your routine. So you have to go zany, which is why you get David Mitchell going, crash, bang, wallet, what a picture. And he's doing a full vaudeville routine, which is so not David Mitchell, but that's why it might make someone break.
And Sam Campbell just walking up to people and asking them the weirdest questions. He's a weird dude, but I adore it. Again, speaking of Foster's, Australia, good guy.
You've not watched episode 3?
No, I've seen episode 2.
Very good. 2 more out today, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah, and the final's out next week. It has been a great content week because Last One Laughing, Jury Duty presents Company Retreat. I think Jury Duty is one of the best sitcoms of the last 5 years. It's incredible, and this is their new one. The gimmick is everyone's an actor apart from one unsuspecting person who's real in this sitcom, and it's filmed like a mockumentary, so they think they're just partaking in a documentary. It is adorable. It's I cannot recommend it enough, but that isn't my recommendation. Obviously, my recommendation is Project Hail Mary. Ryan Gosling, who wrote the book, Andy Weir, the author of The Martian. It's directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Great.
Of Jump Street, Lego Movie fame.
Yeah, it should have been Solo.
It's Spider-Verse. It's a great movie. And loads of people have gone to see it. And it's sure, it was adapted from a book, but so many movies used to be. We have to take our wins where we can.
Absolutely.
This is an original film that's not part of a larger franchise.
In a 7-day period where you've got a trailer for Spider-Man 4, which I did quite like, by the way.
It looks great.
Moana 2, which looks dreadful. And the Harry Potter TV series, which looks somehow even worse. A great win to have something that feels like it's an original movie.
Yeah.
And do well.
And it's really sweet. It's a bit long. Could have shaved 15 minutes off. I don't mind it, but I think some people will because I guess people can't sit through a 2-hour movie anymore without fidgeting. The rest of Battersea Power Station Cinema. Honestly, terrible crowd.
Terrible
crowd.
When was AEW Dynamite last week? Was that them?
Yeah, in Corpus Christi. Reborn in my cinema screen for Project Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Why would you leave? 2 hours, 15 minutes into a 2.5 hour film.
They had a train to catch, maybe.
Look at the timetables.
Maybe they thought it was going to be long, not as long as it was.
On the website, it says when you book it, when the film will finish.
Dude, you are asking people to check details. That's not on them.
Well, hopefully there's plenty of there for you to enjoy. And of course, Dynamite and Collision. They're both really good right now. But for now, I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Luca and DAD. Jam that jam.
Jam that jam.
Or go watch the full Sky Blue Carl Fletcher interview on patreon.com/WrestleTalk.
Nice plug.
Jam that jam again.